Why Americans are afraid of getting sick. In many countries, getting sick begins with one simple thought: I need to see a doctor. But in America, for millions of people, getting sick can begin with a different thought. How much is this going to cost? That question changes everything. It changes the way people listen to their own bodies. It changes how long they wait before asking for help. It changes whether they call an ambulance, book an appointment, take medicine, miss work, or stay silent. And that is the hidden fear. Americans are not only afraid of illness, they are afraid of what illness can trigger. A bill, a missed paycheck, a denied insurance claim, a payment plan, a credit card balance, a rent problem, a family argument at the kitchen table, a future that suddenly feels smaller. This is not a story about America being weak. This is not a story about doctors being villains. This is not a story about people refusing to take care of themselves. This is a story about ordinary people living in a system where the body, the job, the insurance card, and the bank account are all connected. And when one part breaks, the others can begin to shake. Imagine a man waking up at night with pain in his chest. The room is quiet. The clock glows on the bedside table. His wife asks if he is okay. He says yes, but his voice is too soft. He sits up. He puts one hand on his chest. He tries to breathe normally. For a few seconds, he is not thinking about politics. He is not thinking about statistics. He is not thinking about the healthcare system. He is thinking one thing: something is wrong. But then another thought arrives. If we go to the hospital, what will the bill be? That is a painful thought to have during a medical emergency, but for many Americans, it is real. The fear of sickness does not begin at the hospital. It begins before the decision to go. It begins in the pause before calling an ambulance, the pause before booking a doctor visit, the pause before picking up a prescription, the pause before telling your boss you feel too sick to work. That pause is where fear lives, and here is what makes this fear so powerful. America has some of the best medical care in the world. It has skilled doctors, advanced hospitals, world-class researchers, emergency teams, surgeons, nurses, medical technology, and treatments that save lives every day. That part is true, but another part is also true. For many ordinary families, getting care can create financial stress. Both truths can exist at the same time. The care can be excellent, and the cost can still be frightening. That is why Americans can feel grateful and afraid at the same time. Grateful that the hospital exists, afraid of the bill that may come after. The first reason Americans fear getting sick is simple. They often do not know the price before the care happens. If your car breaks down, you can ask for an estimate. If your roof leaks, you can compare quotes. If you buy groceries, you see the total before you pay. But if you wake up with chest pain, you are not shopping. You are not comparing prices. You are not calmly choosing between 10 options. You are scared. You are vulnerable. You are trying to survive. And weeks later, the price may arrive in the mail. That is different from most parts of life. A person may go to the emergency room not knowing what the final cost will be. They may not know what insurance will cover. They may not know whether the ambulance is covered. They may not know whether every doctor they saw was in network. They may not even remember every test that was done. Then the bills begin. One from the hospital, one from the doctor, one from the lab, one from the ambulance, one from imaging, one from a specialist. To someone outside America, this can sound impossible. To many Americans, it sounds familiar. And the fear grows because the system is hard to understand. Words like deductible, copay, out-of-pocket maximum, network, claim denied, and prior authorization are not just technical words. They are words that can decide whether a family sleeps peacefully or spends the night calculating money. A colorful stick figure video can show this very clearly. A small person stands inside a maze. The walls are made of insurance papers. Every door has a symbol, but no clear exit. One door has a medical cross. One door has a question mark. One door has a dollar sign. One door has a phone icon. That is what sickness can feel like in America. Not only pain, confusion. The second reason Americans fear getting sick is that insurance does not always remove fear. Many people think insurance means safety, and sometimes it does help. Insurance can reduce costs. It can protect families from the full price of care. It can make treatment possible. But insurance can also be complicated. A person can have insurance and still receive a large bill. A person can pay premiums every month and still have a high deductible. A person can go to the hospital and still worry about what is covered. A person can be employed and still fear a medical emergency. This is one of the hardest ideas to explain to people outside the United States. The fear is not only among people without insurance. It can also live inside people who have insurance cards in their wallets. They did the responsible thing. They signed up. They paid. They followed the rules. But the rules are complicated. And when the body is sick, complicated rules feel cruel. Because illness does not wait for paperwork. A fever does not ask if your deductible has been met. Cancer does not check your network. A broken bone does not wait for prior authorization. A child's asthma attack does not pause while a parent calls customer service. The body becomes urgent. The system moves slowly. That gap creates fear. And this is where sickness becomes more than a medical problem. It becomes a time problem, a paperwork problem, a phone call problem, a money problem, a family problem. The third reason Americans fear getting sick is that sickness can stop income. This is the part many people forget. Getting sick does not only create expenses, it can also reduce the money coming in. If you are too sick to work, your paycheck may shrink. If you miss shifts, you may lose income. If you are self-employed, you may have no paid sick days. If you work hourly, 1 week of illness can damage the whole month. If you lose your job, you may lose employer-based insurance. And if a family member gets sick, someone else may need to take time off to care for them. So the fear becomes double. How much will care cost? And how much income will we lose while trying to get better? That is why sickness can feel like a trap. The person needs rest. But the bills do not rest. The person needs treatment. But rent is still due. The person needs recovery. But the job expects them back. This is a painful contradiction. A sick body asks for time. A modern household often cannot afford that time. In a colorful 2D stick figure scene, you could show this as a small worker walking toward a time clock while dragging a giant medical envelope behind them. The image is simple, but the meaning is powerful. Many Americans do not only ask, "Am I sick?" They ask, "Can I afford to be sick?" That question should make people stop. Because in a healthy society, sickness should not feel like a financial cliff. But for many families, it does. The fourth reason Americans fear getting sick is medical debt. Medical debt is different from other debt. It often does not come from buying luxury. It does not always come from bad spending. It does not always come from wanting something extra. Sometimes it comes from trying to stay alive. A car accident, a surgery, a difficult birth, a cancer diagnosis, a heart problem, a child's emergency, a chronic illness, a test that could not wait. No one plans for these moments. No one puts them on a wish list. No one dreams of owing money to a hospital. That is why medical debt feels emotionally heavy. It can make a person feel punished for having a body. It can make a family feel ashamed, even when they did nothing wrong. A hospital stay may last 3 days, but the debt can last for years. The patient may come home. The body may heal. The family may feel thankful. Then the envelope arrives, and the second crisis begins. This is one of the darkest truths behind getting sick in America. Survival can come first. The price can come later. And when the bill arrives, it can change how a family sees the future. A vacation disappears, a savings account shrinks, a credit card balance grows, a child's activity is canceled, a car repair is delayed, a move is postponed. Retirement feels farther away. The cost of sickness spreads beyond the hospital. It enters the kitchen, the bedroom, the workplace, the marriage, the child's life, the family calendar. A medical bill is not only a number, it is a shadow. And sometimes that shadow reaches everything. The fifth reason Americans fear getting sick is that fear can make people delay care. This may be the most dangerous part. When people are afraid of cost, they may wait. They may tell themselves the pain will pass. They may skip a checkup. They may avoid a test. They may stretch medicine. They may avoid the dentist. They may wait until the problem becomes impossible to ignore. At first, waiting feels like saving money. But sometimes waiting makes the problem worse. And when the problem gets worse, the treatment can become more expensive. That creates a cruel cycle. Fear of cost leads to delay. Delay leads to worse illness. Worse illness leads to higher cost. Higher cost leads to even more fear. This is why healthcare cost is not only a financial issue, it can become a health issue. A person who delays care may not be careless. They may be scared. A parent who waits before urgent care may not be irresponsible. They may be trying to protect rent money. A worker who keeps working while sick may not be strong. They may simply have no choice. In a colorful stick figure video, this can be shown without making the scene too dark. A small person stands between two bright paths. One path leads to a medical cross. The other path leads back home. Under both paths are bills. The person is frozen. That is the emotion, not laziness, not ignorance, pressure. The sixth reason Americans fear getting sick is that families carry the fear together. Illness rarely affects only one person. When one person gets sick, the whole home changes. A mother worries about her child. A father worries about the rent. A spouse worries about the insurance plan. A grandparent worries about prescription costs. A teenager hears the adults talking quietly at night. A child may not understand the words, but they understand the mood. They feel the silence. They feel the tension. They know something has changed. This is where the fear becomes deeply human, because no one wants to put a price next to someone they love. No parent wants to look at a sick child and think about money. No husband wants to look at his wife's medicine and calculate the month. No daughter wants to help an aging parent compare pills and groceries. No family wants to celebrate recovery while fearing the next bill. But these moments happen, quietly, privately, behind closed doors. And that is why this fear is hidden. Many Americans do not walk around saying, "I'm afraid of getting sick." They say other things. "I'm fine. I'll go next week. It's probably nothing. I can't miss work. I don't want another bill. Let's wait and see." Those sentences sound normal, but sometimes they are fear wearing normal clothes. The seventh reason Americans fear getting sick is that healthcare affects life choices. This is one of the biggest hidden effects. Healthcare does not only affect what happens when someone is sick, it can affect what people do when they are healthy. Some people stay in jobs they dislike because the job provides health insurance. Some people do not start a business because they fear losing coverage. Some people delay retirement. Some people avoid moving. Some people stay in a stressful job because their family depends on the benefits. Some people choose safety over freedom because sickness is too expensive to risk. This is a quiet kind of control. Not control by force, control by fear. When healthcare is tied to employment, a job becomes more than a job. It becomes a shield. And when a job becomes a shield, losing it can feel terrifying. Because the fear is not only, how will I pay rent? It is also, what happens if someone gets sick now? That is why sickness is connected to work, and work is connected to fear. Everything touches everything. The body touches the job. The job touches insurance. Insurance touches the hospital. The hospital touches the bill. The bill touches the family. The family touches the future. And this is what many people mean when they say modern life feels fragile. It is not that everything is falling apart every day. It is that people know one bad event could start a chain reaction. One fever, one fall, one diagnosis, one accident, one ambulance ride, one missed paycheck, one envelope in the mail. And suddenly, normal life does not feel normal anymore. Here is what most people miss. The fear of getting sick is not always loud. It does not always look like panic. Sometimes it looks like a person staring at a medicine bottle. Sometimes it looks like someone refreshing an insurance website. Sometimes it looks like a parent sitting in a car outside urgent care. Sometimes it looks like a worker coughing through a shift. Sometimes it looks like a family eating dinner with a bill on the table no one wants to mention. It is quiet, but quiet does not mean small. A quiet fear can still shape a life. A quiet fear can decide when someone seeks care. A quiet fear can decide whether someone rests or keeps working. A quiet fear can decide whether someone opens the mail or avoids it for another day. A quiet fear can decide whether a person dreams bigger or stays small. This is why the topic matters. Because healthcare fear is not just about hospitals, it is about dignity. Can a person ask for help without panic? Can a family survive sickness without financial damage? Can a worker recover without losing income? Can a parent care for a child without calculating every dollar? Can a person be human, fragile, and sick without feeling like they failed? These are not abstract questions. They are kitchen table questions. They are midnight questions. They are questions people ask when no one else is listening. And still, the story is not only dark, because every day Americans help each other through this fear. Nurses stay late. Doctors explain options. Families raise money for each other. Neighbors bring food. Friends drive patients to appointments. Parents sacrifice quietly. Workers return to jobs before they feel ready. People keep going. That resilience is real. But resilience should not hide the problem. A society should not depend on ordinary people being strong enough to absorb endless pressure. At some point, we have to ask why so many people are forced to be this strong. That is the uncomfortable question. Why does getting sick feel financially dangerous for so many people in one of the richest countries on earth? Why does a doctor visit feel like a risk? Why does an ambulance ride feel like a financial decision? Why do people delay care when their body is asking for help? Why do families fear the mail after the hospital? These questions do not need anger. They need honesty. And honesty is the purpose of this channel. The fears America hides, the truths we reveal. So when we ask, why are Americans afraid of getting sick? The answer is not one thing. It is not only the hospital bill. It is not only the insurance plan. It is not only the job. It is not only medical debt. It is the chain reaction. Americans fear getting sick because sickness can move through every part of life. It can touch the body, then the paycheck, then the insurance, then the savings, then the rent, then the family, then the future. That is the hidden fear, not simply the fear of pain. The fear that one illness can become the beginning of a financial story the family did not choose. And that is why many Americans hesitate. They do not hesitate because they do not care about health. They hesitate because they know health has a price. They know recovery can come with paperwork. They know treatment can come with uncertainty. They know the bill may arrive after everyone thinks the crisis is over. There are 3 truths to take away. First, the fear of getting sick in America is not only medical. It is financial, emotional, and deeply connected to daily life. Second, this fear often changes behavior before anyone reaches the hospital. People wait, delay, work through pain, or avoid care because they are trying to protect their families from cost. Third, the darkest part is this. In a wealthy country with powerful medicine, many people are not only asking whether they will get better, they are asking whether they can afford to get better. That is the hidden fear behind sickness in America. And if this topic made you think, tell me in the comments. What do you think Americans fear more? The illness itself, or the bill that comes after? This is America's hidden fears. The fears America hides. The truths we reveal.